The ceramic mug slipped from my trembling fingers, shattering against the cold kitchen tiles with a sharp, echoing crack. Coffee splattered like dark ink across the pristine white floor, a stark contrast that mirrored the chaos unraveling inside me. My world had just shattered with it. Sarah stood frozen, her face pale, her hands gripping the edge of the counter, as if it were the only thing keeping her upright. Her wide eyes shimmered with something I had never seen before. Not guilt, not sorrow, but fear. And it wasn't fear for me. It was fear for herself. "It's not what you think," she whispered, her voice barely a breath of sound. But it was exactly what I thought. The phone in my hand, her phone, lay open like a confession in my palm. The screen illuminated a truth I wished I could unsee. A gallery of messages, stolen moments, and grainy images that burned into my memory like scars. Liam. The co-worker she had always insisted was just a friend. Liam, whose name was laced with laughter in casual conversations. Liam, who was not her husband. The air in the sunlit kitchen, once a haven of warm breakfasts and whispered jokes over burnt toast, thickened with silent accusations. The scent of coffee mingled with the faint char of over-toasted bread, a cruel reminder of the life we had shared, a life that now felt like a lie. For 7 years, I had believed in us. Through job losses, family struggles, and the quiet anxieties of growing up together, I had thought we were unbreakable. I had thought we were built on trust, on love. Now I looked at her and saw a stranger. "How could you?" My voice came out raw, scraped thin by the weight of betrayal. "How could you do this to us?" Tears welled in her eyes before spilling over, streaking down her cheeks in rivers of guilt and self-pity. "It just happened," she sobbed, reaching for me, her fingers desperate against my arm. "I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. Please, you have to believe me." I recoiled. A mistake? Was the first kiss a mistake? The second? The nights she stayed late at work, the moments she slipped out of bed to check her phone. Were they all just mistakes? Each word I spoke was a blade, cutting through the last remnants of whatever tethered us together. She pleaded. She begged. She swore it meant nothing. She promised it would never happen again. Again. She claimed to love me. Claimed Liam had been nothing more than a lapse in judgment, a moment of weakness she would regret for the rest of her life. "Please, just one last chance," she whispered, her voice cracking with desperation. "I swear I'll do anything. Anything." Could she unkiss him? Untell him she loved him? Undo the intimacy that had once belonged to only us? The truth was simple. She had already crossed a line that could never be erased. My fingers found the ring on my left hand, a simple platinum band, a symbol of a promise she had shattered. Without a word, I pulled it off and threw it. The cold metal struck her cheek with a dull, final thud, leaving a small red mark against her pale skin. I didn't stay to hear her next excuse. I just walked away. The days that followed were a blur of anger, grief, and suffocating emptiness. Sleep eluded me, food tasted like nothing, and my work suffered under the weight of my unraveling world. But as the pain settled into something quieter, something colder, I realized that I couldn't let Sarah's betrayal define me. She had stolen something precious from me, trust, certainty, the belief in us, but I refused to let her steal my future too. I began the slow, deliberate process of reclaiming my life. The apartment, once filled with shared memories, had to go. I called a realtor, an efficient, no-nonsense woman named Eleanor, and within weeks, the place was on the market. The first offer came in higher than expected, and I accepted it without hesitation. Next came the legalities. I didn't want a drawn-out battle. I wanted a clean break. A lawyer ensured the divorce was swift and untainted by unnecessary drama. Then I moved. A small, minimalist apartment in a different part of the city became my new sanctuary. Every piece of furniture, every framed picture, every chosen detail was mine. No ghosts of our past lingered there. It was smaller, quieter, but it was my fresh start. One evening, scrolling through social media, I saw it. Sarah and Liam. They were smiling, hands entwined, their happiness captured in a single, unapologetic moment. A wave of anger surged through me, brief, sharp, but then it faded into something unexpected. Indifference. That was the real turning point. Months later, my phone rang late at night. Sarah's name flashed on the screen. I hesitated before answering. "Hello." Her voice, once so familiar, now felt distant, hesitant. "Hey." The usual warmth in her tone was gone. "I was just wondering how you were doing." "I'm fine." My voice was steady, neutral. "Right. Well, about the divorce. I need your signature on some papers." Send them over. I'll sign. A pause. Then softer, almost broken. There's something else. Silence stretched between us. Liam, he left. My fingers tightened around the phone. Left. He said it was too complicated, she murmured. He didn't want a relationship that started with infidelity. He said he couldn't trust me. A small, knowing smile played at my lips. Not out of satisfaction, not out of revenge, just quiet understanding. I see. I messed up, didn't I? She whispered, her voice thick with unshed tears. You did. The words carried no malice, just truth. Can we talk sometime? Hope crept into her voice, fragile, desperate. I exhaled slowly. There's nothing left to talk about, Sarah. And that was it. I hung up, feeling lighter than I had in months. Her punishment hadn't been my doing. It had been the consequences of her own choices. The man she had risked everything for had discarded her, just as easily as she had discarded me. But my victory wasn't in her suffering. It was in my freedom. That night, for the first time in a long time, I allowed myself to look forward. I picked up my phone, opened a dating app. It felt foreign, strange, but exciting. It was time. My story wasn't over. It was simply the beginning of a new chapter, one of healing, strength, and resilience. And this time, I would be the one writing it.